Good morning. Hello, how are you? Welcome to Mama Power. So good to be here this morning, transmitting and vibrating through New Thought Media Network, this incredible platform and network and ministry that brings forward so many powerful broadcasts and teachings and sharings from people that care about humanity, because that's what we do. We care so much about humanity, about you, and the way that you can experience life. And that's why I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays with Mama Power. So welcome in, welcome in. We're looking at the spiritual way of living, the metaphysical way of living, the deeper way of understanding who we are beyond our personalities. Because life happens and stuff happens and experiences happen that aren't always, they don't always feel good. And it's up to us as how we navigate. How are we rowing our boat, if you like? How are we choosing to see our world? Because it's our choice. And when we choose to see through the eyes of love, even when it's difficult, even when there are those challenges and experiences that we kind of buffer up against and can't quite believe that this is happening or that that's happening, or it shouldn't be like this and it should be like that, and all of this kind of conflict that goes on within our hearts and within our minds, when really we can allow ourselves to go deeper, question deeper, and have trust and faith that there is a greater experience happening. There is a greater kind of play out picturing here, and that we each get to choose how we are with that in the moment. So I titled this From Homeless to Wholeness, and how prayer transformed my life, how prayer transformed my experience, I would say. And then I had a little bit of a kind of unstable beginning with the airing of this and the broadcasting of it. So the title's just kind of gone out the window, and yet the title is still here in my heart, that I wanted to share with you today, if you are here and listening, and or if you catch up on this later. And this isn't because I want to make a point of of a story of where I was in 2020, and yet I feel it's something that happened for me, not to me. And it happened so that I could understand me in a deeper way. And this is what I'm really wanting to say and to bring forward right now. We're allowed to know who we are. We're allowed to question and to go deeper within ourselves and to kind of unpick and piece together again and get a new perspective and understanding. And for many, we're brought up and believing that, we shouldn't question, we shouldn't go too deep, we shouldn't let our feelings get in the way, we shouldn't be the inquisitive ones who want to know everything, and we shouldn't ask why, and we should just accept that this is the way and this is how it's done and this is how it's always been done. And so that's the bottom line of it. And that kind of keeps us quiet and dumbs us down. And then society backs that up for us with all of the messaging that goes on, whether it's politically, educationally, religiously. We are told it's a certain way, and we are told that it's this way and that's the best way. And if we question it, then we're just going to be kind of giving ourselves a headache. So we dumb ourselves down, and it becomes second nature to not question and to not want to understand, or to want to understand but not believe that it's our birthright to do so. And I know that on my own journey and adventure of going deeper and delving deeper, that part of the resistance that came up for me of questioning was that, oh my gosh, if I do that, who knows how much my world will change? And that is scary. Sometimes it's much easier, or it feels much easier, to just plod along in the what we know rather than to rock the boat. Well, I'm here to rock your boat right now. I'm here to show you that there is another way, and to speak that way, and so that you understand in your heart maybe a little bit more that you can live in this other way. And this other way is, for what most people would say, is the wrong way round. We know here that the right way round is when we go and when we come from within first, and that we have that inner knowing, and that is what ripples out. That is what is the ripple that we set as our intention. It's when we focus on the external and make that our kind of our rooted place. That's when we kind of get into shaky ground, because we believe that what we're seeing is permanent and unfixed, and it will never change. And then life goes boom, and there's a change, and we can't cope with it. And we haven't yet built up that solidity of the faith underneath, in that this is from within, that there is this greater one presence that is happening through each of us. So last year, when I experienced homelessness and really living in the car and not knowing what to do next, other than following that inner guidance that I have honed and tuned in on over the last few years, and particularly the last year, when I was kind of forced or pushed into really walking my talk, and do I really believe in this? I teach it, I study it, I live it. Do I believe it? Am I living it to the fullest that I can? And last year gave me that opportunity to question that even more deeply, because I was in an experience that I didn't like. It didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel good, not knowing where my food was, that level of need was not being met. That basic level of need was not being met. And I really had this deep opportunity to go within and look at why, how could I have got to this place that I wasn't even supporting myself or feeling supported by myself. And there was a lot of unpicking, unraveling, and forgiveness and work that I was being called to do. And I said yes, because I couldn't, there was no other option. It was like I wasn't going to cling on to the visual experience anymore. I chose to be guided by the unseen and to surrender to that. And that's what I have put here and written here, and that is the first step. When we feel that we are in a place of not being in control, and we don't know what is going to happen next, and we don't like it, and it doesn't feel good in our humanness, surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. That does not mean that we're saying, it's okay, I'm just going to, fall down and lay down here and make my home here, and that's it. I'm going to get comfortable here. It doesn't mean that. When I say surrender, and what I know of surrender is that it means for me that I'm handing over my sense of human control. I'm handing over to that greater presence, that greater essence, that ineffable essence that, we call whatever we call it. There are, 108 names for this, and more probably. Whether we know it as the divine, infinite intelligence, the creative source, God, Allah, Gaia, Mother, Father, God, whatever, life, love, breath, whatever it means for you, for me, we each have our name for it, and maybe there is no name for it, because labeling it kind of defines it. And yet it's this otherness, and yet it is the everything of everything. And when we choose to surrender to that and allow that to live fully through us and let go of the expectation of how we think it should be, and that's what I did. That's what I had to do, because I felt that that was the clearest path for me, the clearest path. And through that, I was inspired. I was inspired to take action. I was inspired with information, because I was in a more relaxed state of not wanting it to be a certain way. So that's the first step when you are experiencing something that does not feel good or comfortable or right or just or fair on a human level. Surrender. Surrender to who you truly are. We are human, we are spiritual. It is all God. It is all one. There is no division between it. And yet there are tools that we can use, and we can lean in on those tools to build, if you like, our faith muscle in the spiritual, which is the first cause, which is the essence. So as I took myself away from what I saw around me and the judgment I was placing on my experience, and leaned more into the divine, I was guided. I was open to the guidance that is always here. And I think this is the key, because the more we place our thoughts and our feelings, or the more we aren't in tune with our thoughts and our feelings, I want to say, because this is the next step here for me that I was impelled to act upon, was to check myself, check my thoughts and check my feelings, and to not deny them, and to not do a bypass on them, and to really, really pray, and to journal, and to understand what's going on in my head, in my mind, in my heart, in my whole being. You know, our feelings are like, there are messengers. And so often, there's a bike starting there, it's going now. So often we are trained as youngsters, we're trained to deny the way we feel. And we're very good. We're very good at listening, and we're very good at copying, and we're very good at molding our way, as I said earlier, to the way that we're told it is, you know. And if we're told that it's not good to show, express, or understand our feelings, as we grow, as we age, and as we grow, we don't learn other ways. We learn to suffocate, if you like, or to put our feelings down. And so this is the task. This is the next task, is to check our thoughts and our feelings, and own them, acknowledge them, and do the work. Do the work, because it's not about living in a happy, clappy place. Oh no, it's about actually acknowledging what's going on for us and honoring those feelings, and saying, yes, I'm here. I'm here to look at this. I'm here to work through it. I'm here to really place those feelings at the top of our list, if you like. If you feel sad, be sad. If you feel angry, be angry. If you feel happy, be happy. It's like, this is the infinite of the expression of who we are. And we're uniquely showing up as the one. And that one is wanting to uniquely express through us. And we are the individuals of that. So own you, and love you, and love you, and love you, and love you. And that was the second part, was learning. The third part, accepting, love. And what I did in that situation of being in that place of homelessness and experiencing that, was really being grateful for what I saw around me, and realizing the immensity of what I already have, the immensity of the physical things that I already have, and the inner that I already am, and the outer that I already am, and the allness. And I learned to say constantly, this too is God expressing. This too is God expressing. So I would see a scenario or a situation in the shelter that I was living in between people, and I would know that it was God expressing. I'm not trying to make it something different or pretty it up or to deny that I should be there and not accept that I am a part of this too. And this is the part where we learn to, in our meditation, to not label things, to take away the labels from things, because we're placing labels on what I talked about this last week, whether it's a table, whether it's a chair, whether it's a settee, whether it's a rock, whether it's the sea. I mean, we call these things what we call them. And let's see it all as an expression of the divine. And there are ways that we can use these tools to really allow us to grow spiritually and emotionally, so that whatever experience we're experiencing, we're not calling it good or bad. We're simply in the experience. We're in the experience and allowing ourselves to be or to settle into what it is without judging it. So prayer has been integral for me. And the way that I pray is to really know in truth that the infinite exists. The infinite exists. And so if I'm experiencing a slice of that in this moment, it doesn't mean that nothing else exists. It means that's where I am right now. And as I open up in my mind to knowing this infinite and feeling it as me, as a part of it, not separate from it, then I'm excited. I'm excited for the possibilities that are here right now. And what we're doing when we pray is that we, especially with affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, is that we are shedding, if you like, or polishing the diamond within, polishing the light of who you are. And this is your power. This is your mama power. I call it that because, that's what I identify with, this resource that we have. And as women, we are not always feeling more than. We are not always feeling that we are accepted or loved by ourselves or by others. And the work is for us to do this ourselves and to feel it and know it and be it for ourselves. We can't give this responsibility away and give our power away and give it to anyone else to try and make us better. Especially if we're in relationship. It's not the other person's responsibility for us to feel better. Our job is to do this. It's a DIY. DIY. Do it yourself. And that can be fun, and that can be exhausting, and that can be challenging. It can be challenging. And are you up for the challenge? I'm asking you now, if you're here and listening, answer in the message here. I can see you. Are you up for this challenge right now? To live from the other, which is really, really the essence of who you are. Are you up for that? Now, prayer I see as this beautiful bridge where we get to commune with our spiritual nature and with that greater intelligence, with that infinite intelligence, the divine. Prayer is where we connect, where we communicate, and where we command, and where we know that it is done and it is so. And it is a tool. It is a tool, it is a map, if you like, that we use for as we're standing on solid ground, and we use that. We use it for our own knowing. And I'm inviting you to actually, learn how to pray, not from a place of begging and asking and wondering and wishing and hoping, from a place of knowing that we are loved and we are here as love, experiencing this incredible awakened experience. And I know that if you're here because you have awakened. I'm not going to say you're woke. I mean, I don't really use it, but you have woken up. You've woken up to knowing the truth, to knowing that everything that you see is an outpicturing of the old. And so we know in quantum physics, we know from shamanistic healing, we know from old metaphysical wisdom teachings, mystery schools, we know that the physical, it deteriorates. It is that changeable, moldable. It is not that stability. Behind it is the source. Behind it is the infinite intelligence. Behind it is the knowing and the wisdom. And we get to choose and to transform the way that we think, the way that we feel, so that we see it all differently. And we perceive it differently so that we experience it differently. Are you ready to not be homeless anymore? Because I guarantee you, I've lived with a lot of money and I've lived with not much money. I've done the high and the low and the high and the low in my life. I've done it a few times. And I can tell you, there were times where I've lived with a lot of money and I felt homeless. I felt homeless because I hadn't connected with that knowing, or communed with that knowing. I was empty. And last year, when I really was physically homeless, in the physical, I felt so prosperous. I knew I was so prosperous in so many ways, and so blessed and so grateful. So grateful. If I needed a pin and I found a pin, I was grateful. If I needed, some toast and suddenly a loaf of bread appeared, yes, I was so grateful. And that for me is true prosperity, is acknowledging what is here already, because it already is. And from that place, we draw in greater experiences. So prayer was a part of that for me. Prayer was absolutely a part. And I invite you to look at your spiritual practice and to revamp it, shake it up, change it, shift it. Do whatever you need to give yourself a fresh beginning again. And we know we can do this in any single moment. In any moment, we have that availability. Okay, it's 3:02, so I have 3 minutes left, and I want to just speak about Mama Power and what I am doing because of that experience that I went through. And I realized that for me, I felt strong, resourceful, resilient, and I felt filled up with the tools that I have accumulated over many years. And I felt so much empathy and compassion for those that are in this situation, women in particular, that are in this situation and do not have that within them to rebuild their lives in a way that feels good. So Mama Power is a community that I am creating right now for women who are really looking to turn around their lives, their businesses, their spirit-led businesses. And yes, it is a paid mentorship program, a weekly membership where you come in and you learn and you grow and you learn around prosperity, around what prosperity really means, and around you connecting with your own unique self and voice and showing up as that in your confidence. And also learning and understanding, I would say, what it is you're here to offer in your life. And because of that, this is a social impact model of a business where I am creating this for women who are or have experienced homelessness and do not have those tools to stand up with that confidence, to get on with their lives and to make their lives worthwhile. So by joining this membership, you are joining this initiative, if you like, which is set to reach many women who are in need of that spiritual knowing that we know that this divine presence is who we are. And for those that are disconnected from that, and there is a gap, there is a space, this is where I'm here to provide these tools. Because as a teacher and a guide, I couldn't just sit by and not do anything. I'm here to serve humanity. Absolutely, you know. So New Thought Media Network is an incredible platform. You are always welcome to share your testimonials, to your love offerings, however much that is or little. There is no quantity in the mind of God. We know that. And remember for yourself, you are not homeless. You are whole, perfect and complete, just as you are. And those steps that I talk about in this video, surrendering, checking and owning your thoughts and your feelings, accepting love, accepting yourself as love, knowing that you are loved, and gratitude all the way for everything, every single thing, everything in your life, overflowing with gratitude, going to sleep, being grateful for all of it right now. These are the steps that I talk about. And I'm going to stop now because it's gone, 3 o'clock. I know there's other broadcasts coming in. Love and blessings to you. And I will be back here this Friday, not next Friday, with another Mama Power. Unlock your Mama Power. Until then, love and blessings from my heart.